Good morning and welcome to day 83 of walking from Mexico to Canada along the Pacific Crest Trail. My name is Prime and I'm walking 2,650 miles to raise money for combat stress. Last night slept in a burn zone, it wasn't too bad, and I also had Wi-Fi, so I was able to watch some YouTube with my dinner last night. But today is town day. I have 7.5 miles down the road to head into Chester to have a Nero day. Get resupplied and then I'll be heading out tomorrow. So let's roll out. This is a creek at 1,329.5. I'm going to top up my water and then I'm going to push on and pray the trail gets better. I have about 3.2 miles to the road now. Bumped into a hiker and his dog when I was up at the water. So he's hiking up to the midpoint, just doing some training with his dog. Lovely, lovely border collie. Really nice. Nice temperament. He said I've still got some brush to go and then it opens up into a meadow. I'm going to get a meadow. It does say there's lots of water in it and there's a bridge, but it's a bit swampy. Don't care. I'll take a swampy meadow over all this burn zone brush any day. So I'll be glad to get down, get into Chester and get some town food. The hiker was right, it's a bit of a swamp, but you know what, I'm heading into town, don't care, and my feet dry pretty quick anyway, so. But yeah, it's a lovely country, man. I love my home, I love our hikes. I mean, we don't have the long ones like yours, but as I said, I think I'm getting to the point where I'm not obsessed about the distance anymore. It's more about what am I going to experience. And I met a hiker who was very obsessed with distance. He wouldn't do anything like wasn't long distance. I was trying to say about Mount Blanc, and I was saying, look, it's amazing. Said, oh, it's only 105 miles. Said, yeah, but it's amazing.
Well, you want to stop and look at the beauty and not just rush through it.
I've just made it to town, got dropped off by some trail angels. That was amazing. I got to the road junction just as Your Highness was getting dropped off by trail angels, and they took me all the way back into town, recommended this hotel. Very hiker friendly, and they had one room ready to go. So I got into it. I'm going to go for breakfast, start sorting myself out for resupply. It also has coin operated laundry, so I'll be getting my laundry done because I think I need it. But I'm going to go and get breakfast. I want to watch here, just get in this room. It's really nice. So this is where I'm staying. It was actually, I got the last vacancy. As you can see, no vacancies. That's the joys of hitting town at the weekend. So I'm just in the outdoor store in Chester. Got a good selection of gas bottles here and kind of anything else you need on the trail. They've also got the beach shoes, which I wear for river crossings. I'm going to keep also for if I swim in lakes. Yeah, a lot of camping gear. If there's any extra you need, you can get it here. So they've also got some of the backpacking meals as well. Not bad prices considering I paid $5 for a ramen. So just been the sporting goods, lots of good stuff in there if you need it. Everything's pretty close in town, so you don't really have to go that far. Also quite lucky that the main area to get resupply is actually right across my hotel. Apparently this is the best place to get your resupplies. I'm going to pop in and see what there is. Just in the store, get my resupply, lots of stuff. They've got the wraps again, that'll help. Let's see if they have any hot chocolates. They got a big selection. Oh, they do, look. Swiss hot chocolate. That is what I need. Looks like I'm also here for their 250th anniversary. Got their cool hats out. Nice. Also got pointed onto these proper Japanese ramen. They're a lot bigger and they're not much more priced than the ones out here. So I opted for them this time. Right, I think it's just snacks I need. Let's go and get some. So I've got my laundry done. Still got my stylish frog togs on, but I'm now going to jump in the shower, get myself sorted and head down for dinner. Just been a chill day, but I've got a lot of stuff done and I'm going to head for the shower now, head down and get my dinner and then get a rest for tomorrow. Right, that feels better. I've had a nice shower, but I'm more than likely going to have a bath later on tonight after I've come back from dinner. So I'm going to head down, see what I can find, and I'll come back and I'll show you what my resupply looks like. And I'm also going to give you a quick review of how my topos are also doing. Since I've been wearing them from Sonora Pass, that gives me a good idea of what they're like for me. Footwear is really something that's an individual thing, but I can give you how I feel about them. And then I'll give you my plan for the next stage of my hike. So at a certain time, Chester kind of dies. It's really quiet. A lot of the restaurants and stuff are closed. I'm heading to here. This is apparently still open, so let's see if I can get some food. Just had an amazing dinner in there, and it was a steak, milkshake. Oh, steak was amazing, like really good, really tasty. So I'm going to go back to the hotel and we'll go through my resupply and I'll let you know about ultras before chilling out, doing some video editing and have a nice bath. So here's my resupply for the next 3.5 days. I am heading to Burnley Guest Ranch, which is off mile 1411.3. So I've got a slightly bigger ramen than my normally ones. Here's the normal one compared to the much bigger ones. Got my snacks, hot chocolate, wraps again. Got some salt sachets as well, just to help with the electrolytes and stuff. And I've got my crisps as well. This will do me till I get to the ranch. Hopefully I get there by lunchtime or dinner, either or. Have some real food and then get resupplied and hike on. Sadly, there's a piece of kit that I have to leave behind in the bin because it's no longer functioning properly, and that is my solar panel. It's done amazing all the way through and it's been charging my power banks brilliantly. However, it's took a bit of a beating throughout the trail. From mile 0 all the way through the Sierras to now, it's just took a pounding. So this is it here. There's a lot of major scrapes, dents, there's a crack here. And there's also a crack down here, so it's not really charging the batteries as much as it should. And I'm also mostly in the forest now, so it's not really getting a chance to properly charge the batteries. So they're only getting a little bit of sun, then back into the woods, so that's not really good for the batteries. Because of my speed that I'm going, I am moving a lot faster, so I can get from resupply to resupply and charge up my batteries. I did this last section from Sierra City to here without using my solar panel, and I didn't even end up using my Nightcore 10,000. So I have enough power banks and GoPro batteries to keep myself going on the trail. So the solar panel has done brilliantly, but it's now at the end of its life. It did do the Tour Mount Blanc and over 1,000 miles of the trail and through some of the more tougher parts of the trail as well. So brilliant solar panel, it's just at the end of its life and it's just took too much damage along the way. Another thing I'm going to go through is my footwear and I'll let you know how it's actually been. I've been wearing my Topo Vistas ever since Sonora Pass, so they've been through fresh snow, ice, and the terrain and the trail, burn zones and going over trees, and burn zones and going over all the blowdowns. So I've had a good idea of what they're like, and I'll give you a look at what they look like now considering the distance they've done. You'll have to excuse the colour. They did go through a kind of swamp today, so they're not looking their best. However, comfort wise, they're very comfortable on the flat, which I'll get to. Their overall robustness, I'm not actually impressed with. There's a lot of external damage. Nothing on the soles are fine on this one. This one has took a lot of damage along here, and as you can see, all over it. There's also a bit of a chunk missing out the sole, but again, the soles look absolutely fine. There's no rips or tears. However, when they're on angled trail or snow or ice, they're not the best. The sides are really quite weak. So when you're walking on the side of a trail, my foot tends to start to stick out here rather than stay in place and allow the shoe to tilt. So my foot actually pushes right out. This is really uncomfortable and it's not really safe. And the insoles inside end up moving, so I actually have a blister on the inside of my right foot because as I was walking at an angle, the insole had slipped all the way to the side, and as a result, my foot was rubbing on the inside and caused a blister. So overall, I'm not massively impressed with them, especially over undulating terrain. They really need to be a bit stronger and a bit stiffer here for me. They probably work for a lot of people, but they really don't work for me. Hopefully as I go along the trail and it's getting less of massive inclines, I should be a lot better, especially when I get to Oregon. So hopefully they last all the way through Oregon and get to Cascade Locks. But we'll see how they get on. But as I said, the soles are absolutely fine. There's some damage on the outside, but it's nothing that's causing any major structural problems. But I just don't like them when they're on angled ground at the moment. That's what I've been on. So hopefully for the next stage, I'm hoping it's a little bit flatter. Hopefully I get some cruisy trail, and then they're absolutely fine. But I have ordered a pair of Hoka Speedgoat 7s, and I will meet them at Cascade Locks when I get to that, and they will end up doing the last 500 miles with me. The topos, in theory, sound alright. They've got the nice big toe box, which hasn't really been a big thing for me. I wear narrow shoes all the time, so I'm used to that, so my feet don't really need a big toe box. I just think there's a bit too much space and the sides are just a bit weak. The Velcro patch on the back, yes, that's a nice little feature, especially for the gaiters that I'm wearing. But when I get my Hokas, I'm just going to stick a Velcro pad on the back of that and just continue hiking. So it's not a major factor. I would rather a shoe that's comfortable, which they are on the flat, but one that's also sturdy enough to hold my foot in place when I'm actually on angled terrain or rocky paths. So I will not be getting topo vistas again. So it's been a good Nero day here. Chester's quite a nice town. The dinner I had was amazing, brilliant steak, and the room was brilliant. Maybe a bit pricey, but it is the weekend and I hate hitting a town at the weekend because the price is always a bit higher at the weekend. Tomorrow, back on the trail. I'm getting picked up by a trail angel in the morning about 8, and then I'm going to start hiking. I would like to get the 25 miles, but there is burn zone ahead, and it really depends on how far I can get. If I can get the 25, great, but minimum 23 miles. So I'm going to pack up and get ready for bed. So if you enjoyed the content, please like, share and subscribe, and above all else, help out combat stress, and I will see you in the morning for another day on the Pacific Crest Trail.